Hey there, Andrea Seidel here. I am so excited that you are joining us today because I know I say this all the time, but when I have authors on the show, it just makes me so excited because I know the amount of effort, dedication, expertise, and knowledge that they put into their work, into their book. I wholeheartedly believe that books change lives and have the power to change lives. And when I was little, I used to always go to bookstores, and my siblings would always ask, "Can I go to the mall and go shopping?" And I would be like, "Can I go to the bookstore?" Because books have so much knowledge in them, so much expertise, and just so much effort and work and dedication that I just get so excited. And so this is an extension. This podcast is an extension of my love for books, of my love for authors and all their expertise and knowledge packaged into golden nuggets for us to take away. So today I am so excited because I have an author on the show, and I just want to quickly introduce you to him because he is so profound. I've had the privilege of getting to know him over the past couple weeks and months. And he is all about being an advocate for caring leadership. And he believes that he embodies this idea of caring leadership, and that he has been saturated in the world of IT consulting. He has been an executive for years and years, and he realized that it's really more impactful to have a style of leadership that is caring for the people. Now, I'm going to let him talk all about it because he's the expert, but he's also the creator of Architect of People First. And he trademarked that, and he created this whole program around it. He's been in the IT world, as I said, consulting services. He all across North America. He's a coach now, and he is an advocate for caring leadership, and he speaks all over the world. And we're so excited because now he is taking his knowledge and his resilience and adaptability and his ability to connect with people and empower individuals and work with leaders and managers to help them do the same thing. So he has now written a book. And so I am so excited to welcome Jermaine L. St. Dennis to the show. Jermaine, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for this outstanding introduction. I don't know if I live up to it, but anyway, it's really been a pleasure to work with you and develop this book.
So I always say, and now we know a little bit about you. What inspired you to write this book?
Actually, from my years of experience in business, I've been observing leadership styles and leadership personalities, and the profound impact that it has on the people, sometimes negatively, sometimes very positively, but has an impact on their personal and professional life. And when I became a leader, I decided to do my best to help the people, and I developed this caring leadership philosophy. I blogged for the past 3, 4 years about caring leadership. And this year, early in 2023, I decided to turn it into a book. And the book really captures a lot of my real life stories, my experience, and it's a practical guide. It's meant to be a practical guide for either new aspiring leaders or current leaders, experienced leaders, to help them become caring and develop a better workplace for everyone.
Oh my gosh. And so your book is called Empowering People Through Caring Leadership. That is such a beautiful title. And it's actually, and your subtitle is Strategies That Actually Work. Can you tell us a little bit? I love the title, first of all. I love it because you are empowering people. You're empowering leaders, you're empowering managers, you're empowering anyone really is a leader. You're empowering people on so many levels to go to a level, not even down, just go to a level that is all about humanity, all about connecting with people. And so your title, can you talk about your title and why you chose that as your title?
Well, actually, the idea of empowering people largely comes from the principle of servant leadership, which people may have heard of. It was introduced years and years ago by a gentleman named Robert Greenleaf, and it's really accepted worldwide. The idea is that to be a successful leader, you need to train and equip your people, then you trust and empower them to get the work done. But so many leaders don't do that. And so when I was thinking of a title that would reflect my leadership style or what I believe is a great leadership style, as others have used it as well. Initially, I started with Architect of People First as my title, but that's kind of maybe vague because people don't know it yet. So after a few discussions and stuff, empowering had to be part of it. Empowering people had to be part of it. And caring leadership is really the vehicle. If you empower people and you're a caring leader, people will be successful and then you are successful. So I wanted the title to reflect that. And the subtitle really says, this is not just some idea that I wrote just because I wanted to write a book. This is based on real life experience. So the practical strategies that actually do work because I've proven it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I love this concept where people take not just their expertise, so your years and years and years of experience kind of being in the field, so to speak, and
Mhm.
you the groundwork, like you have seen it in action, and you not only have the training and years of training, but you also have the experience. And so your book, and I love that you put that like strategies that actually work. It's like things that people can put into practice right away. But I have to say, as I've come to know you, is I really do feel your ability to connect on a human level. And you have this really, really this desire to spread that human connection and to recognize that, you know what, in order for us to lead genuinely is to connect with people and so can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I love speaking about this. I believe that the heart of leadership is human connection. And simply what that means is to lead effectively, you have to get to know your people as individuals, personally to a certain extent, but you have to know their aspirations, their motivation, their main skills, and then you have to give them the opportunity and trust that they will succeed with your help. So when you look at all of that, it's not really that hard to be a caring leader. You're just bringing more humanity to the workplace, and everybody wins that way. Everybody thrives.
Oh, and it's so true, right? It's almost like when you're more like a drill sergeant or commanding or not bringing out the or not caring essentially and kind of not connecting and understanding one another. It's so hard to help someone get motivated or to so can you speak on like a specific level like in business, like where how that would really help? Like can you give us an example of caring leadership strategies?
Well, I mean, you mentioned so commanding style, for example, which applies in some cases, typically in the military. But I talk about different leadership styles in my book. Um, but take for example, so you have a group of people, somebody makes a really bad mistake and maybe impact your client. So what does a leader do? One of the options is to quickly redeem the problem, or deal with it with the client, and then separately talk to that person and help them develop so that they don't make the same mistake again. But you have to deal with it. You have to accept that, people do make mistakes. We all do. The other way of addressing it, if you're a different kind of leader, might be to say, okay, well, I'm an executive and I have the power to fire this person. So, black and white examples really, but they do happen in real life. I have seen it. I've lived that.
And I love your approach to how it's more collaborative. It's almost like it's a collaborative approach and how um, that it's built on mutual respect and built on this trust and empowerment factor. And I love the way you put it that everybody wins.
Mm.
And so one of my favorite parts about your book is how you almost redefine modern leadership. Like your book is so timely, especially given, the COVID epidemic and everything going
Mm.
on. Some people want to work at home. So you even talk about that in your book. So one of my favorite parts is that your book, although it's from years and years and years and years of experience, as well as your expertise, it's incredible that you are able to integrate it for now, for current times, and but that this approach actually is what you say is it's timeless. But here's how you can apply. Can you speak to that a little bit as well?
Yeah, it's definitely timeless, and I'm not the only one who favors or is an advocate of caring leadership. There are other great leaders and authors who favor that too. Um, I'm fortunate that, I'm still connected actually and in touch with people I worked with 30 years ago and people I worked with 3 years ago. And so it's great because even 3 years ago during the pandemic, everything was different. People were, imposed a work from home restriction right off the bat. People had struggled to deal with that. My approach would still deal with the person as an individual, right? And so in the book, I really purposely cover key areas that are relevant to today's workplace. So the key areas in my book that I cover is number one, a caring leader has to be a coach. That may be new to some people, but coaching leadership is really the answer. Number two, a leader is responsible to develop their people. And that's a key responsibility. And then number three, today you have to be able to deal with multi-generational teams, right? That's what it is. You have Gen Z and you have seniors, and I worked with all of them. And really, I don't have a problem with any of them. And I don't think it's a problem anyway. And the other area that I talk about is the future of work, how the workplace is evolving and the work relationship is evolving and it has to evolve. And then one of the key chapters in my book that I really like is how to deal with the tough stuff that life throws at you. And so I'm talking about the crises. We've lived through a recent one. I've lived through the impact of the 9/11 terrorist attack in New York. The impact on business was huge for us. I've lived through mergers and acquisitions 3 times, having to do layoffs, executive churn, those kinds of things. So the book really is meant to be a guide for today's leadership and tomorrow, right? Even though I have years of experience, it's meant to be a guide for today.
I love that. And I love that you address that it's not always going to be perfect and that, sometimes there are acquisitions and sometimes, all these things, and that your book is such a wonderful guide and support system that offers multiple strategies for the reader so that they can apply the architect of the people first, right? And so who did you write this book specifically for? We kind of target on this is basically for anyone who wants to be a successful caring leader and kind of shift the mindset around it. Who is that really the target for you? Who do you hope picks up your book?
That is really the target. And I'm glad you mentioned mindset because caring leadership and architecture people first principles are really, they're not slogans, even though I use them as a tagline on social media. They are a mindset. And that's really important to understand. So if a leader doesn't want to have that mindset, as they say, you can lead a horse to water, but my book's not going to help them. But my book will help many, many, I believe, aspiring leaders, new leaders, and experienced leaders who may be wondering, how can I do better? It doesn't mean they're bad leaders, right? This is not meant to fix people or fix leaders. This is meant to help them become better leaders, develop a better workplace all around. So that is really the reader, the target reader that I'm aiming at. And my aim is that the book will help people become better leaders, help create a better workplace. And again, everybody wins that way. It's simple.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And it's all about nurturing the best in people, as you say. And that it's really embracing this caring leadership mindset or style. And that I love the way you put it too, because it's not like you're read this book because you're broken or you're not doing a good job already. It's like this book is just more that can emphasize and help you and support you and help you just shift your mindset a little bit and and encourage this idea of caring leadership and embracing that mindset or that style so that the reader can effectively nurture the best in people and their teams and themselves. And I love the way you put it. It's always a win-win situation. So, okay, so I have not asked any of your questions, Jermaine, because I'm so excited about your book and I'm so thrilled. And so I always love getting you talking because I know your greatness. And I always joke that, okay, let's squeeze your brain out and let's get it onto the paper and spread it to the world. So what impact do you hope to have on the world with your book?
I'm actually, I think the world needs caring leaders more than ever. So I'm hoping that this will help leaders become more or genuinely interested in the success and in the well-being of their people. That's really the impact that I would like to have. And for me, just the how you measure success as a caring leader, you actually measure it by observing your people. People who become motivated, engaged, they do better, they're happier, right? And again, everybody wins. So my idea of successful leadership is to help people be their best. And if my book can help that, can do that, even if only a few leaders or a few organizations, if it can help leaders be better leaders, be caring leaders, and help everybody be their best, I would be happy.
Oh my gosh. I think your book should be a textbook at like, universities and in like almost like required reading for all these corporations. They're going to definitely want their employees to read it, but we don't want to
Why
say
not?
required because then it's not caring leadership, right?
Why not?
Why not? But it is a beautiful gift and it does show common humanity and human connection. And I love that. And so you also have a beautiful forward. Do you want to share a little bit about the excitement of your endorsement of your book?
Yes, oh, thank you. I was actually blown away by the support that I have received from a select group of leaders, current leaders, and authors who have provided me with some feedback, with some insights about my book, and amazing endorsements. I, some of them, when I was reading them, I was tearing up, to be honest. And Mark Crawley is one of the people that I've been following for years. He wrote a book called Lead from the Heart in 2011. And at the time, people didn't believe that that book would be successful because no, that's touchy-feely stuff that leaders don't want to, don't want to be part of, kind of thing. But things have changed tremendously, and even more so during the pandemic. And so it was so close to my leadership style, even though we have a totally different journey, that I followed Mark. We've been in touch. We've been communicating now for several years, he and others. And when it came the time to have my book published, I said, well, not many people will know me, but what about if I could ask someone who is already known and supports and is also an advocate of this more humane way of leading? So I asked Mark, and immediately he said, "Oh, he graciously agreed." He said, "I'd love to write a foreword for you." And what he wrote is just a masterpiece. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I was blown away by it, and it's just really, really great.
And that's a testament to the power of your book and the message that it has. And so I just wanted to celebrate you and in that forward and that accomplishment, and for you to having the courage to reach out and connect with him because of how much his book changed your life and had such an impact. And I know your book is going to help so many people as well. So you did have a bit of a health implication and you took a sabbatical. And this is where you kind of got inspired to write this book? Is this where, kind of it started your career transition? Do you want to speak about that?
Yes, actually, I did have I had cancer in 2015, and after I had my treatments and I recovered fully, I decided not to go back to the corporate world. Before that, I worked for a very large software company, leading a team of software engineers. But so I decided not to go back in the corporate world, and I decided to come back as a consultant instead, and try and share my beliefs and my experience and my proven principles. And that's when I developed the Architect of People First to say, okay, these are the principles that I believe work. And the in my book, I have, the hallmarks of caring leadership. And number one is caring for your people. Obviously, that's not going to surprise you. But so I started blogging and I've been doing some consulting work. And so it was that idea that after having a bit of a scary health situation, because having cancer, it is scary for everybody.
Yeah.
I decided to focus on things from that way. It doesn't mean that I don't work with organizations, and I still work with organizations. I work with individuals, And it doesn't mean that I wouldn't join another company in a full-time role, but I would still be focused on this whole idea of it's like I'm on a mission to help people get to this caring leadership stage, or at least adopt as much of it as possible. Yeah, it's like I'm on a mission.
Yes, and you are, Jermaine, you are on a mission. I could see it in the how you're, you're what's the word? Vivarious? Is that a word? Vivarious, voracious, voracious. Your tenacity with writing this book and keeping it moving forward, right on track. And so yes, it's so exciting in that so you are available for consulting and speaking engagements and all these things. And then you have your book as well, that can follow you around on all these occasions. If people, want to get a taste of you, now they have your a little bit of you in your book, or a lot of you in this book, empowering people through caring leadership. And so it's going to be available worldwide, in bookstores and everywhere that they distribute books. So is there anything you want to add to that? So what's next for you?
It's so exciting, yes, to have my book available everywhere, right? It's really, really exciting. And I look forward actually to more feedback, to customer reviews, and hopefully people it will resonate with people. And later on, I would love to get feedback from leaders who say that this book has helped them, right?
Yeah.
That would be tremendous. That's really rewarding for me to hear that I've helped people. And in my coaching work, it's very similar. And some of the things that come up regularly in my coaching work, is how do you develop relationships remotely? Leaders still struggle with that sometimes. How do you lead change remotely, lead change without the official title? How do you facilitate workshops, meetings online? Uh, Relatively easy for me and you probably, Andrea, but it's not easy for everybody. It's not natural for everybody. So I'm definitely available to help organizations, coach individuals, or coach a team. I run something called Empowering Leaders in Action. It's a roundtable program. Empowering Leaders, again, to tie into my book. In action part is because it's based on practical, actionable advice or discussions, right? Everything is based around that. So we have a roundtable discussion with several leaders, and we discuss whatever issues they have that day, or that week, or that month. And sometimes we drill down and talk about more specific things. But the idea is that there's a lot that we can do to make the whole world better, and the leadership area better. And I am available generally, very active on LinkedIn. I have my own website, jermainesaint-denis.ca. People can look at that. And obviously my book will be available Amazon, Indigo, Chapters Indigo, and bookstores. Yeah, yeah, very exciting.
It's so exciting. And today's the day when, if you're
Today's the
listening to
day.
this,
I mean,
yes,
imagine.
today is the launch day. Your book babies come to life, all your hard work and dedication. So for those that are listening, I always do book giveaways. So if they're listening to this, wherever you're listening to it or watching it, if you take a screenshot and tag us in it and share it on social, and that way I know you've done it, I'll keep opening this up until the end of, I think I'll do till the end of February. And if you tag, you get entered into a draw. I will give away 5 copies of this book, Empowering People Through Caring Leadership, as my gift to you. So please, please, please share. And also, so with this process, a lot of people might be listening, say, okay, wait a second. How did he do it? How did he write this book? How did he publish it? How did he know what to do? I know I've been a little bit of a part in it. I know your wife Janice has been a huge part, with her editing capabilities and her beautiful skills. So, if someone's listening, can you speak to that? Like how would they go about doing it, and also what was your process?
So actually, yes, if someone is listening as a thinking of writing a book, I think it's like wanting to find your career. You have to find your passion, write something that you're passionate about, because then it will come across that there's more genuine, and it will resonate with people. So find something that you really, really know well, and the key for me was developing an outline. When I decided that I was writing this book, I actually committed to it in a podcast. So then I kind of had to, but
Isn't that
earlier
funny?
in the year, I committed to writing this book, and I developed an outline, and that took me a while, but because I had many ideas in mind. But then I ran the outline by you, Andrea, and by Janice, who I'm fortunate. She's a professional communicator. She narrates and produces audiobooks, and she's also a book editor. So she helped tremendously. And I ran the outline by her. And after a few discussions, the outline that we ended up with stuck to the end. Really, it was the right, we changed a lot of some of the topics inside the chapters and everything else, but it really works. And that's what I recommend to people. Get a coach of some kind, get other people involved to help you get going. And you have to be disciplined and motivated. I'm generally a disciplined person, but if you're not disciplined and you wander and leave it, you know, it may not be as successful. So you really have to dedicate the effort because it is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. I actually love the process at the end.
At the end.
Yeah.
It is, but it's so, I agree with you 100%. It's so rewarding. And you actually haven't seen a physical copy of your book yet. So just wait till that happens because that's the exciting part. And so yay. So okay, and yes, and thank you so much to Janice. I definitely want to work with her as well in terms of helping us at Live Life Happy Publishing with editing and things like that too. Would be kind of wonderful. So we should talk about that. And also you mentioned there's so many people that came out of the woodworks to support you, and with all the endorsements and things like that, did you want to speak to that as well?
There are very many, and I won't name people on this podcast because I'm afraid I'm going to leave some out, but there are definitely some key individuals that have helped me, and some key leaders that have provided terrific insight. People, and that's a really a added bonus in my book. And I have to thank Patrick McKenna, who suggested that, you know, to provide added value, why don't you survey a few, because I have contacts, why don't you survey some leaders that you know and some authors and ask them to provide input for your book, right? So additional insights that generally complement my caring leadership principles. And I was blown away by how much feedback I received. Like people were so open, wanting to share, which is really good. So I put some of this in the book, not all of it. The additional information that I have, I will make available through my website. And people can go there and provide their email and sign up. And I will make that available to anybody who's interested because there is a lot. And then when it came to get endorsements, I've already mentioned, you know, the forward is terrific, but I've asked other renowned people to take a look at my book, and testimonials are really terrific. So I couldn't ask for better, to be honest with you. You know, I think you can't ask for better. You have to know, you have to realize when things are good, and right now that this is really, really good. I'm really happy. Yeah.
Yay. And that is empowering people through caring leadership strategies that actually work. Jermaine L. St. Dennis. Now I'm saying your name wrong because you say your name so beautifully.
Germain
Say it.
Saint Denis or Germain Saint Denis. And I rarely use the L, but we use the L in the book to make sure that, you know, no one else tries to steal my idea.
Yes. So it's good that I'm saying it phonetically because then people can find it on Amazon and everywhere, right?
People can find it on Amazon. They have the book summaries there. My about the author is there, and I really look forward to hearing and reading those customer reviews. Definitely, it's really exciting time.
It is. Well, I cannot thank you enough for being on the show and being a friend all these months and just getting to know you. It's been such a pleasure. And I know your book is so powerful and is going to help so many people. So if there's one last thing you want the listener to hear, what would that be?
If there's one last thing I want to say is um, care for others, and if we all care for each other and we're kind, I think life will be way better.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Jermaine.
Thank you, Andrea. Thanks for your help.